Hi, my name is Olivia and I'm a first-time mom with a 14-month-old baby boy. I like to do things a little bit more natural, a little bit more on the crunchy side of things. And today I want to share all the things I packed for my toddler on our recent 1-week-long driving road trip vacation. So I am intentionally doing this after we've already come back because I wanted to include anything that maybe I packed that we didn't need, maybe it was overboard, or anything that I missed, or any little tips, tricks, anything like that. So I have a long list of things to go through. I'm going to try to go through them as quickly as possible, give as much insight as possible, and then also I've created a little PDF, a cute little downloadable page that you can either have on your phone if you're going on a trip, or you can print it out, and hopefully that checklist will help you. I'll go over everything in this video, but if you want that, the link will be below in the description. So first, let's start off with anything that has to do with feeding your toddler. So the first thing, I brought a water bottle just like this. I actually brought two. This one I just ended up washing, so I really didn't need to. Next thing would be a bib. I completely forgot a bib, and it would have been more convenient to have one, maybe one of those silicone ones I could have just put in our backpack, but I forgot, so maybe don't forget that on your trip. Another thing I needed was a high chair, which I didn't end up needing to bring because I stayed in an Airbnb that already had one, but that's definitely necessary. I have one that is like a travel version of a high chair, which I would have brought if they did not already have a high chair. The last thing that I brought that I thought was super convenient was having little Ziploc plastic baggies. Yes, I could have just run to the store when I was there, but I already had them at home and it was really easy to bring to put any leftover food in for my son. So next up, let's go over anything that has to do with bathing. So I needed to bring bath toys, obviously, for my son, and I brought just a couple of these little squeezy bath toys that completely open so no mold can grow in there. That was super easy. I also brought lotion for him for after the bath. I just have this like little jar of homemade lotion, which was really easy to bring. And then lastly, it would be shampoo or body wash. So I brought this from home because I didn't really trust what they had at the Airbnb for my son. It wouldn't have killed him to use regular body wash for one day, but I would rather have my own. The last thing that I actually would like to mention, I almost brought our bath mat because he likes to get up and it is really hard to force him to sit down in the bath, and he will slip. So I thought it was a little bit overboard. I did not end up bringing it, but maybe you think about that depending on how active your child is. Next up, let's talk about travel gear. So of course, probably the most important thing on this list is a car seat, which I love our car seat. It actually is one of those like spinning, rotating ones. So if he is facing forward towards us, towards the front of the car car seat actually sits up a little bit taller. And then if I rotate it around, he's actually laying down a bit more. So I could tell if he was going to sleep. I could flip him around while we were driving and let him go to sleep and put a blanket over him and whatever, which was really, really nice. And if he wanted to be a part of what we were doing and talk to us and whatever, I could spin him around and have him face towards us. And that was just a super convenient thing to have on our travels. Another thing would be a stroller. So I was super, super fortunate. My sister-in-law actually had a travel stroller that she was giving me, and so she brought it on this trip. So we had like a very collapsible, I'll share which one it is, but that one was super convenient for going to things like we went to the aquarium. So that was really nice to just easily get in and out of our car and not take up too much space. But I also brought my jogging stroller because I wanted to go on runs, which I ended up going on a lot of runs and walks with my son. So that was super awesome to have. So if I only got to pick one, I'd honestly pick the jogging stroller. It's way more bulky, but I used it way more. But if you have the luxury of having both, I think that it's super awesome, but it's definitely overboard and you definitely don't need it. You probably just need one. The last travel gear type of thing that I actually didn't bring, but I wish I would have, would be a baby carrier. So my son is about 26 pounds, a little bit more than that right now. And so he's a little bit too heavy to carry on the front, which is why I don't usually bring a baby carrier, but there were opportunities to go hiking and I can spin that baby carrier around and wear it on my back, which would have been very convenient, and it would have been a lot easier if I had that to take with my son, but I didn't remember it, and maybe you could think about that for your next trip. Next thing up, let's go over anything that has to do with sleep. So of course you're going to need some kind of travel crib unless your child sleeps in the bed with you, which my son does it like a half and half. So the Airbnb had one of those pack and plays, so I didn't have to worry about it. But if I did, maybe I would have brought our pack and play, or maybe I would have just let him sleep with us. I'm not sure. If you are going to bring something like that, you definitely need sheets and then a blanket. So I did bring him a little baby blanket for the pack and play that was already at the Airbnb. Another thing I brought was our Nest little sound machine, which he sleeps with every night. I think he would be totally fine without it, but it was super loud in our Airbnb. There were a lot of other kids, so I was in there trying to take a nap a lot of the days when my son was taking a nap, and I struggled to go to sleep because there were screaming kids. So I am very, very grateful that we had the sound machine. If it was just my husband and I and my child, I don't think it would have been a big deal, but just something to think about depending on who you're going with, how thin the walls are, what's going on around you. A couple more things would be a pacifier. My son just uses a pacifier at night sometimes, but definitely wanted to have it just in case. And then I also brought a sleep sack. He sometimes sleeps in it, sometimes sleeps in regular pajamas, but I just wanted to have it, so that's something that you might want to remember on your trip. Last thing up would be a toothbrush and toothpaste. So he only has 2 teeth right now, but I still brush them. Try to brush them every day. Sometimes I forget, I know, probably terrible, but he has 2 teeth. So definitely want to remember to bring that kind of stuff. The toothpaste that you like. I specifically like this toothpaste for my son. He loves it. He loves to brush his teeth. So that was really nice to have with me. So next, let's go over clothing. So we obviously need socks and shoes. I brought a pair of tennis shoes and a pair of water shoes because there was a pool where we were staying, and that was absolutely enough for our week. Next, you're going to need pajamas or a sleep sack, whatever you decide for your own child. Next would be undies. So we recently went diaper free, so during the day he is wearing undies at all times, and so I brought every single pair of undies that we had, which we only have 8 pairs. I definitely need to buy some more because 8 pair for 7 days. Definitely had to do some laundry, and I would just recommend, if you are in the same boat and your child wears undies but still has a few accidents, maybe pack double or just know that you're going to have to do laundry. You also want to remember to bring bathing suits if you're going anywhere where they're going to be swimming, and with that, any hats, because I like to put a hat on him to shield him from the sun a little bit more, or maybe you just like your baby to wear hats, I don't know. Those are the last clothing items that I brought. I also did want to mention, obviously you need to bring outfits for your child. I would have brought about 2 outfits per day, but I knew that I was going to be able to do laundry, so I think I brought a little bit more than 7 days worth of outfits. So if I didn't have the opportunity to do laundry, I definitely would have packed at least 2 outfits per day. So next, let's go over potty stuff. I know some people are just wearing diapers, and so you're going to need diapers and wipes, obviously. My son, like I said before, is doing diaper free, but he does wear diapers at night, so we just needed about 7 diapers. We needed wipes, and then we needed our baby potties. So as far as potties go, I have this little baby potty. It's really cute, really tiny, super convenient because there's no other pieces to it, and it can be easily cleaned. I also brought this little potty top, which can easily go on top of any potty that I've found so far. So I can put this in our backpack, and I can put this on any gas station nasty toilet, and my son can go potty, and I can easily wipe this down and put it back. So I would say having both of these was really convenient, and I'm very glad that I brought both. Another thing to make the cleanup of these potties way easier, plus you can clean other things around wherever you're staying, is a bottle of cleaning solution. So I brought my own little glass bottle from Amazon it's Dr. Bronner's cleaner inside. So that was super easy to just use my spray bottle, clean off the potties very easily, rinse them, and they were done. Another diaper to remember would be a swim diaper if you are going somewhere with a pool. I also keep a small towel just in case he has any accidents when we're out and about and I need to clean something up. Plus, I bring little like Walmart sacks, little plastic bags, so I can put any pee clothes back into so they're not contaminating the whole backpack. And the last thing, I think this is fairly obvious, would be a diaper bag, something to carry all this stuff. Don't just put everything in your suitcase because you need another type of bag to carry wherever you're going on your vacation adventures. Next, let's talk about entertainment. So we bought him a new toy for the drive, and just like a little tip, we ended up leaving around 4:30 or 5 p.m. so that he could be awake for a little bit and then go to bed. He goes to bed around 7, but when we're in the car and it's not dark yet, he ended up going to bed around 8 or even 8:30. So that was really helpful. I feel like our drive there was really smooth. He barely cried. He slept for a very large majority of the time, and having that new toy whenever he was awake was really nice because it was something new, something he was interested in. It played music, and it was one of those little busy board book type things that played music, and so that was super awesome to have. Plus, leaving later in the day was also really awesome. So next, you do want to have toys. I filled up a little thing this big of toys that I knew if we lost, it would be fine. There were so many other kids playing, so if something got broken or whatever, it didn't matter. I just wanted to have a few things for him to play with. And then I also brought books. So we were there for a week. He is okay if we keep reading the same book over and over, and so I ended up just bringing 4 books, and it worked out super well. So I don't think you have to go too extreme with this. I think the main point of the vacation is doing something new and going to different adventures, but when you are stuck in the house for a bit, or if it rains or whatever, you do want to have some toys for them to play with. Some other suggestions that I wish I would have had, but I didn't, would be like a busy book. I know I said that's kind of the toy that we had, but there are a lot more that I've seen that have a lot more gadgets and things on the pages, little puzzles for them to do, things like that. I think that would have been super helpful because the book that we had, it just had like one thing on each page and then he was over it. So like any kind of little busy book, I think that would be really nice, or a sticker book. I've also seen that that can be really awesome for toddlers, something that's green free, but also keeps them interested. So those are 2 little toys that I would have gotten if we were to do this again. Okay, next up, let's go over health and safety. So of course we need sunscreen. I use Think Baby. This was really helpful. He had to have sunscreen on almost every day, so this was really nice to have. Plus, I told you that there was a pool at our Airbnb, so I also have this swim spray, which you just spray it on them before and after they swim, and it protects them from the chlorine. So chlorine, if you don't know this, it can't just be washed off, like rinsed off with water. So to help protect their little baby skin, this is really awesome, and it's not very expensive. Now, something I had, which was very helpful, was hand sanitizer for any places that we went that were kind of gross. Like we went to this zoo that was a little bit not the most cleanly. So I have this little Attitude hand sanitizer. I know this is clean and good and easy for both of us. Next up would be anything that has to do with teething, because my son is teething right now. He has like 3 teeth coming in, poor baby. So I use lavender. I have this lavender essential oil you just roll on. I also have the camellia. I hope I'm saying that right. I'll put a little photo of it. But those drops are a game changer. They work so well for my son. So those, I went through the box, so I don't have the box to show you, but those were awesome to have. I also have this arnica gel, which you can rub on the jaws. It's for pain. So I have that. And then my last ditch effort, if he still needed something, would be this little Wink Kids like cooling gum gel. So this is really nice to have as well. I also brought, just in case, which I actually ended up needing, if he gets any scrapes, I brought Band-Aids, and then what I use to put on any type of cut or scrape that he has is this Manuka honey. So I just put like a little dab of it on there, and then I put the Band-Aid over, and we're good to go. So those are the last things that I used for the health and safety type of portion of my packing. Okay, finally, I just want to go over some like extra little things that I did or maybe didn't do and I wish I would have done. So I packed snacks. So the day before, or actually I think the day of, I made a lot of protein balls for us to snack on during the ride and while we were there. I also brought some like Tillamook, I hope I'm saying that right, cheese. They have them at Costco. They're in individually little packed squares, which are really easy to snack on and to take with us. And then I also made homemade granola bars. I brought homemade overnight oats. So whenever I got there, all I had to do was go to the store and buy milk, and Greek yogurt. So that was really easy to have. Plus I was glad that I had my little mason jars with us. Some things that I think we went a little bit overboard, but we potentially would have used if we would use the pool more, would be a life jacket. I did bring a life jacket. We were in Branson, Missouri, and so there's a huge lake, and I thought potentially we would go on the lake, and if you're on a boat, you have to wear a life jacket. So I brought that and didn't end up needing it, but maybe that's something you should consider. Another thing I brought that I did not use would be a pool float. I think if we would have used the pool more, especially with the whole family, that we would have used the pool float, but we just ended up not needing it. We did go to a beach while we were there, and so, a beach on a lake. Anyways, it was really nice to have someone else's, because I did not bring this for myself, a giant blanket, like a picnic blanket for us to have, so we weren't just sitting on straight sand. So that's something I wish I would have brought, but I'm very lucky that someone else had that for us. And lastly, something that I forgot and I wish I would have had would be laundry detergent. So if I have to use someone else's like Tide laundry detergent for one day, I'm not gonna freak out and it's gonna be okay, but I would definitely rather use my own clean, nice laundry detergent that I trust and I feel safe with for my son. So the kind that I use is actually a powder version, and I could have easily put it in like a Ziploc bag and brought it with us, but I forgot. Luckily, another family member had a very compatible laundry detergent that I was able to use. But again, if you forgot this and you had to use something from the store that you didn't necessarily trust for one day, I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I could have easily just brought my own from home if I would have thought about it. So I think that concludes my full list. That is all that I had, and that's all that I brought and thought of. I did not need anything else, so I hope this list helps. Again, if you want the little PDF version, click the link in the description below. And if you have any other suggestions or things you think I forgot or whatever, I would love to hear about those or hear any other tips or tricks that you might have if you are traveling with toddlers, especially if you're traveling with multiple and you have experience with this. Please let us know below in the comments for anyone who is about to do this for the first time. So anyways, thank you for watching. I really hope this was helpful, and please give it a thumbs up if you like this video.